Let's get right into it, man. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Thursday during a dramatic bond hearing for the social media streamer known online as Chud the Builder.
Yeah, News's Maggie Weaver, she's been following this case from the beginning. She was at that hearing all throughout the day yesterday. Maggie, give us an idea. What was the mood like in that courtroom?
Well, I can tell you guys, the hearing lasted about 3 hours long, and this was one of the most strict courtrooms I've ever been in. I've never seen personally so many people asked to leave the courtroom just from talking in the gallery or moving around too much. But basically, investigators, attorneys, and family members all testified about the shooting. We know that a major focus Thursday was what happened in the moments leading up to that gunfire outside the courthouse. So investigators and defense attorneys actually gave very different accounts of how the confrontation unfolded. Dalton Etherly, known online as Chud the Builder, faces attempted murder and other charges. And investigators testified that surveillance video showed Etherly approaching another man while carrying a selfie stick before he walked away. The defense then argued that that man followed Etherly, grabbed him, and then put him in a headlock before those shots were fired. Now, the shooting victim was...
His case is really hit, man. If he approached them and said whatever he said, which I know how homeboy get down, how he talk, right? And he said what he said. And then basically the video literally showing the guy walking and put you in the headlock. That ain't grounds to pull your weapon and fire. Like, that's not grounds to pull your weapon and fire, especially in Tennessee. Maybe in a whole nother state, maybe in a Florida or something like that with the stand your ground law. But Tennessee does not have no stand your ground law to where you can just open this, you ain't got to run. You can open fire. So that's a whole nother development in the case.
Airlifted to Vanderbilt, we know. And prosecutors argued that Etherly built an online following by provoking confrontations in public for attention and money. Now, the court also heard investigators found a bulletproof vest in his car and also plane tickets to Istanbul, Turkey, scheduled to leave today, May 22nd.
Well,
the courtroom...
that don't mean anything. They can have, you can have plane tickets, and I'm not really sure if bulletproof vests are illegal. I know for a minute certain particular bulletproof vests was illegal. You can buy some, but I think the armor piercing ones are the ones that stops, like I think the ones that stops a certain don't quote me on this. I think the ones that stop a certain bullet are illegal to have, I believe. Don't quote me on that one, though.
Also grew very tense at times. Judge Poland repeatedly warned the gallery to remain quiet during testimony and that video evidence.
We're going to have a orderly hearing today. If there's anybody speaking out or any kind of problem out in the gallery, that's going to be considered open contempt, and you're going to be subject to up to 10 days in jail or a $50 fine or both.
Now, at one point, conservative activist Jake Lang, who was in the gallery, was removed from the courtroom and taken into custody after making comments about what he called a two-tiered justice system. Court records show that Lang previously served prison time connected to the January 6th Capitol riots before later receiving a presidential pardon.
That's a $1 million bond with the following conditions: no weapons, GPS monitor. There will be a gag order for Mr. Etherly regarding social media and live streaming about the facts or the parties involved in this case. That's okay.
See, they was making it sound like he couldn't be on social media. They was making it sound like he couldn't post or anything. No, he can post on social media if he gets out posted. Of course, his bond got reduced from 1.2 million to $1 million, as y'all can see. But he can post on social media. He just can't post on social media about the confines of the case. He can't talk about the case. He can't talk about the victim. He can't talk no information about any of that, or that bond would be revoked. And I'm gonna go on and say this: I think he's gonna get out with this bond, honestly, even though it's still $1 million and he still got to come up with $1 million and stuff like that somehow, some way. I think he's still gonna get out somehow, some way.
That's going to help him as much as anything.
Now, as you just heard, Etherly's bond was lowered from $1.25 million to $1 million. The judge also said bond conditions would include GPS monitoring and social media restrictions as well. Now, court officials say the case has now been moved to circuit court, and Etherly's previously scheduled May 26 hearing has been canceled.
So with that being said, basically with the social media restrictions, man, you can still get on social media. You can still make what money you gonna make or whatever. If I was him, and I don't want to give no idea, I don't want to give no ideas out, but I'm gonna give them out anyway. I would get on social media and reverse everything, because y'all know he originally said in his GoFundMe. If you go look at his GoFundMe, that they've raised over $100,000 on it, right? If you go look at it, he originally said something as far as, oh, he did those type of comedic racial skits or whatever, you know. So he was trying to downplay the fact of what the little skits or whatever. I'm not even gonna call it a skit. The videos that he actually produced, they try to downplay the fact, like, oh, it was comedic borderline, it wasn't like serious, stuff like that. So if he does get out, it would be a great idea for him to kind of reverse what he was doing, to, you know, so to take some of the heat off of him on this case, as far as people thinking the whole he hates black people and all that. That's a narrative he can push too, his defense can actually push. But I feel like he's gonna get out. He's gonna get out somehow, some way. But they did say somebody tried to attack him in jail. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at it and see. Let's see, not in jail, but in a courtroom. Take a look and see. Shooting Montgomery. Let me see. What does his lawyer break it down?
It takes 90 seconds for this nasty.
Which I think, honestly, let me see.
Known as Chud the Builder, finds himself in hot water, testing the limits of our rights. In this week's Ask Isaacs, Lori Tucker takes questions about the case to legal analyst Greg Isaacs.
Greg, thank you for joining us.
Lori, it's good to be here.
We are in the newsroom. It looks a little different right now. This is normally where we do our live stream every Wednesday at 1:30, and we decided to keep it in here for this segment because it's pretty appropriate when we're talking about a guy who is known as quite the provocateur on his live streams on X, and that is Chud the Builder. He is known as a rage baiter. Let's talk more about what he has done in the past and the trouble that he is in right now when it comes to attempted murder charges.
Here's the thing about that. They keep saying this dude is known as a damn rage baiter, bro. Like, clearly he picks on certain particular individuals. He doesn't go where he needs to go in order to get the reaction that he actually wants, because he knows he's going to get a certain reaction that he really doesn't want. You know, like if he really was down for the whole movement of, you know, you a champ and you this and you this, that. If he was down for that, he would actually go to the areas to where he was going to get the most violent, the most dangerous reaction. You're not going to go harass homeless people. You know, you're going to go pick on some homeless black people. You know what I'm saying? You're right. No, he was in Nashville. He was in Tennessee, whatever. Go to Antioch. You see what I'm saying? Go to places like that. And for people who are from Tennessee and know from the Nashville area, know that area, go to Antioch. Go to Antioch and do that. You're going to get the exact response and the exact everything that you want. You're gonna be able to use your gun and probably get away with it. See, that's one thing he wasn't smart about. He was going up to people who didn't have fire on them. He was going up to people who didn't have anything. Go up to people who got their fire on them. He wanted to use his firearm so bad. Go here. You know they're gonna pull a weapon. That way you can use your weapon. That way you can possibly get off on killing somebody that you know, or unaliving, as they say, somebody that you know wasn't that bright, man.
Chud the Builder has a significant following on X, and he's a rage baiter. What he does is he'll approach pedestrians, use very salacious language, typically with a racial overtone, and then try to get a reaction. Chud the Builder, aka Dalton Etherly, took that little act outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Just a few weeks ago.
And he encountered an African-American individual that was a military veteran. They were engaging in some words. The warrants say that Etherly took a bladed stance, kind of like this, removed a firearm from his jacket pocket and began to fire, injuring the other individual and also shooting himself in the arm. And he's charged with some serious criminal offenses, Lori.
Let's go down that list. First, as I mentioned earlier, is attempted murder. Also, we have aggravated assault, employment of a firearm during a dangerous felony, reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, and his bond is set at $1.25 million. Why?
We about to see something. I ain't really talking about nothing. Hold on. This is what we're gonna look up.
Whoa, that worked instantly. I can't believe it.
No, but look something up. Because with all them charges, we gotta see. Okay, so Tennessee, I would see if Tennessee was a Commonwealth state. Tennessee is not a Commonwealth state. It's officially designed as a state. All right, so anybody who doesn't know what a Commonwealth state is, a Commonwealth state is basically a state that even though you may have been charged and nothing came out of it, the state will still pick it up. So I'm trying to figure out. They say he got attacked, which I don't. Let me see. I don't believe. Yeah, I don't believe he got somebody tried to attack him in the court when somebody said that. So, but as you go, his bonds reduced. Attempted murder. We can't do no more updates. Let me see. We'll do updates and see. We can watch this. Let's watch this.
Mood like in that courtroom?
Well, I can tell you guys, the hearing lasted about 3 hours long, and this was one of the most strict courtrooms I've ever been in. I've never seen
They said during a bond hearing, authorities officials revealed new details about what led up to a shooting outside Montgomery County Courthouse involving streamer known as Chud the Builder. Dalton Etherly, known online Chud the Builder, was charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, employment of a firearm during a dangerous felony, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon for his involvement in a shooting that took place outside the courtroom. He's hit like. Okay, it's gonna be a controversial case regardless. I can already see it happening being a controversial case. Even if he doesn't get charged with attempted murder, he's gonna get charged with the aggravated assault, employing a firearm. Even if he doesn't get charged with the aggravated assault, employing a firearm, right? He's gonna get charged with the reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Like he's going to be doing some years. It's not like he's about to get off 1 year or 2 years. No, he's going to be doing some years. And a lot of people and there's going to be a lot of attorneys that want to take this case in a way too, to get their name out there, win, lose, or draw, you know what I'm saying? But He's gonna get some time, man.
Personally, so many people asked to leave the courtroom just from talking in the gallery or moving around too much. But basically, investigators, attorneys, and family members all testified about the shooting. We know that a major focus Thursday was what happened in the moments leading up to that gunfire outside the courthouse. So investigators and defense attorneys actually gave very different accounts of how the confrontation unfolded. Dalton Etherly, known online as Chud the Builder, faces attempted murder and other charges. And investigators testified that surveillance video showed Etherly approaching another man while carrying a selfie stick before he walked away. The defense then argued that that man followed Etherly, grabbed him, and then put him in a headlock before those shots were fired. Now, the shooting victim was airlifted to Vanderbilt, we know, and prosecutors argued that Etherly built an online following by
All right, I heard that. We can even look this up, guys. We can even look this up. We can even look this up. We're gonna go to the smartest thing online. We're gonna see. We'll go to the smartest thing online. In Tennessee, you generally cannot claim self-defense if you were the initial aggressor. However, you may be justified in using deadly force if you clearly abandon the encounter and communication that retreated to the other person, but they still follow and attack you. See what I'm saying? Because a headlock is considered a life-threatening situation, imminent danger of seriously body injury or death. A deadly response can be proportionally used if the legal criteria for stand your ground and abandonment aggressions are met. So if we can go right here. The legal requirement included abandoning the encounter under Tennessee Code 3911-611. If you provoke a conflict, you forfeit the right to self-defense unless you clearly communicate an intent to stop the fight and withdraw, but the other person continues to attack. So, imminent threat to harm. To justify using a gun, you must have a reasonable belief that you are in imminent danger or death or severe bodily injury. A headlock restraining your breathing typically meets this threshold. Let me see. You must be in a place where you have a legal right to be and not currently engaged in unlawful activity. In Tennessee, there is no duty to retreat before using deadly force if you meet these conditions. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. It depends on what story is being told. It depends on how the video is. The time, like he's gonna get some time for letting the firearm off and such, whatever. But with a good attorney, and it, like I said, this is just Google, but there's the code right there. With a good attorney reading this code, there's some way that homeboy can low key lower them charges in less than that time, man. Because if the video showing him saying something and walking off, and the guy's following him, and the guy put him in a headlock is something that can restrict airflow, guys. It is what it is, you know. It can restrict airflow. It is. Let's be honest here. You know that can turn to be used, you know, with a deadly force. But this is Tennessee too. Every state's different. It says self-defense cases are elevated by juries on a strict fact-specific basis if the law views your initial provocation as escalating to the point where the victim's response is justified, or if your attempt to walk away wasn't clearly communicated, shooting them results in a more severe shooting results in more severe criminal charges. So let's be honest here, right? Let's be honest here. His own live stream is probably going to be what actually gets him hemmed up, because if he didn't say, okay, I'm just playing, no, I'm just kidding with you, I'm leaving. If he didn't say that, he just dipped off, you know. What do y'all think, though? You know, so what do y'all think? I honestly do think I think he's hit. I think he's hit up. I think there's gonna be some way. Y'all can come back to this video. I think there's gonna be some way to where his time gets somehow reduced some type of particular way, and there's gonna be an uproar cry. Like I said, this could start a whole nother, I'm not gonna say George Floyd joint, right? But this could start a whole other wave of that coming in, man. But anyways, man, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I actually want to do this video because I heard he got somewhat attacked or somewhat approached to somebody trying to do like a little attack mission in court, but we didn't find that. But we stumbled on other things, man. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, man.